Hello, miladies of inestimable value. Some people go broke trying to look rich. Sigma females stay rich by looking like they don't care. Let that marinate for a second. While the world is out here maxing credit cards for clout, financing egos through car leases, and calling it soft life, there's a different kind of woman watching the chaos. Silently, strategically, and slightly amused. She's not competing. She's calculating. She's not posting her every win. She's stacking them quietly. And most importantly, she's not living above her means. Because she understands something 99% of people don't. Real power is quiet. Real wealth is invisible. Here's a quick fact to chew on. Over 60% of people earning six figures still live paycheck to paycheck. Translation? Most people don't have an income problem. They have a validation addiction. But Sigma females, they don't buy things to feel better. They don't stunt for strangers. And they sure as hell don't flex for people they secretly pity. While others chase lifestyle, the Sigma female designs leverage. She doesn't need to scream she's winning. She just never looks like she's losing. So buckle up, because we're about to uncover the 12 brutally honest reasons why Sigma females don't live above their means, and why that might be their deadliest move of all. Oh, and if you came here hoping for pretty advice wrapped in Pinterest quotes, you might want to grab a seatbelt instead. Number 1. They don't chase clout, they chase control. They don't chase clout, they chase control. And that's exactly what sets Sigma females apart in a world obsessed with showing off. While most people are out here trying to be seen, trying to go viral, trying to look like they've made it, the Sigma female is doing something much quieter and far more dangerous. She's building power behind the scenes. She doesn't need the world's approval because she already owns her lane. That means she's not going broke trying to wear the latest trends or snapping pictures in rented cars. She doesn't care about your followers, your applause, or your applause emoji. If it costs her freedom, it's too expensive. End of story. You'll never catch a Sigma female flexing for people who are secretly rooting for her downfall. She has no interest in clout because clout is temporary and often fake. 1 minute you're trending, the next minute you're forgotten. And chasing that attention? It's exhausting, expensive, and worst of all, it gives other people the remote control to your self-worth. That's something the Sigma female will never tolerate. She's not interested in buying status. She's interested in owning her peace. She'll happily wear the same outfit 10 times, drive an old car, or skip the latest iPhone because none of it controls her. She controls her life, her money, and her next move. People often confuse her simplicity for lack of ambition. They couldn't be more wrong. She's ambitious, but her ambition is laced with strategy, not desperation. She's not playing the short-term game of, look at me. She's playing the long-term game of, you'll feel me when I move. Control to her is knowing that she owes no one, she needs no one's approval, and she can walk away from anything that doesn't serve her. And to have that kind of power, that requires saying no to a lot of what the world pressures people to say yes to. While others are chasing likes, she's chasing leverage. While they beg for attention, she's building exit plans. She doesn't need to be seen. She needs to be unstoppable. That's why she lives below her means, not because she can't afford more, but because she knows exactly what more will cost her. Number 2, their ego isn't on a lease plan. Their ego isn't on a lease plan. That's the unshakable difference. While most people spend money to feel important, the Sigma female doesn't need shiny things to feel like somebody. Her confidence isn't tied to a handbag, a car, or an expensive vacation. She's not renting her self-worth from a brand. That's what makes her so powerful. She actually owns her identity. And in a world where most people are faking it, that kind of authenticity is rare. You see, the truth is, a lot of people look successful, but it's all just smoke and mirrors. They're drowning in credit card debt, overworked and overstressed just to maintain a lifestyle that screams, I matter. It's a trap, a financial treadmill. They don't even like the stuff they're buying, but they can't stop because their ego depends on being seen as wealthy, trendy, or ahead of the game. Sigma females don't play that game. They never put their self-esteem in the hands of material things. If a Sigma female walks into a room and no one compliments her shoes, she's not crushed. If she drives a car that doesn't turn heads, she doesn't flinch. Because her worth isn't something you can measure by labels or likes. She doesn't need external validation to feel internal power, and that means she's never in a rush to upgrade her lifestyle to please others. She'll wear simple clothes, live in a modest place, and still feel untouchable, because her ego is grounded, not leased. And the irony? People sense that. They can feel when someone walks into a room and doesn't need their approval. That quiet confidence hits different. It's magnetic. While others are flashing what they bought, the Sigma female is radiating something much harder to copy: self-possession, the kind that can't be purchased, borrowed, or faked. She's not competing in the status Olympics. She's not interested in impressing people she'll never see again. And because she's not constantly performing, she's free, financially, emotionally, and mentally. That's why she lives well within her means. Because her ego doesn't need constant feeding. It's already full, and no designer label can match that kind of richness. Number 3. They know people buy things to escape themselves. They know people buy things to escape themselves. Sigma females see it all the time. People spending money they don't have on things they don't need, just to avoid facing who they really are. It's not always about wanting something new. Sometimes it's about not wanting to sit in silence with your own thoughts. That's the part most people don't talk about. Buying becomes a distraction, a quick hit of excitement to cover up boredom, anxiety, insecurity, or emptiness. But Sigma females don't run from themselves. They sit with the discomfort and deal with it. That's why they're not constantly shopping for a new identity. They already know who they are. A lot of people go broke chasing a feeling. They think buying the latest phone will make them feel connected. They think a designer bag will make them feel respected, or that an expensive vacation will make them feel alive. But the truth is, those feelings fade fast and the hole is still there when the receipt clears. Sigma females don't fall for that trap. They know if something's broken on the inside, nothing external will fix it. You can't swipe your way to self-esteem. That's why they're careful with money. It's not because they're stingy, it's because they're conscious. They don't spend to distract. They spend with intention. If something adds value to their peace, their growth, or their goals, fine. But if it's just another way to avoid thinking, feeling, or healing, they'll pass. This is what makes Sigma females so emotionally dangerous to shallow people. They can't be seduced by trends or social pressure because they've already done the work most people avoid. They've faced their shadows. They've unpacked their baggage. So they're not chasing the next purchase to feel like a whole person. They already are. And when you can sit alone in a quiet room without needing a shopping cart to feel okay, that's real power. That's why they live below their means. Not just to save money, but because they don't need to buy peace. They've already made it within themselves. Number 4. They treat frugality like a flex. They treat frugality like a flex because to the Sigma female, discipline is louder than diamonds. She's not out here trying to impress people with the latest designer drops or flashy cars. She's impressing herself with how well she protects her future. While most people equate success with how much they spend, the Sigma flips the script. To her, success is how little she needs to be unshakably content. And that's a power most people don't even understand, let alone possess. Frugality to her isn't about lack, it's about leverage. It's knowing that every dollar she doesn't waste is another layer of freedom she builds. While others are racking up bills to appear rich, she's stacking quiet wins that no one sees coming. That new bag, that weekend getaway, that luxury lifestyle that eats your paycheck before it lands, she could buy it all, but she won't because she knows the difference between being able to afford something and being smart enough not to. Most people brag about what they buy. She silently owns what she keeps. That's why she doesn't just budget. She strategizes. Every financial decision is a power move, not a panic swipe. And when people laugh at her for being too careful or too simple, she lets them. Because she knows that true confidence isn't loud and true wealth doesn't need to announce itself. What others call cheap, she calls clear-headed. What they call boring, she calls bulletproof. The Sigma female has trained herself to find beauty in boundaries. She knows that peace of mind is sexier than a new outfit. and that not owing anyone is the most underrated luxury in the world. In a world flexing rented success, she's flexing independence. And that kind of flex doesn't expire, doesn't depreciate, and doesn't vanish when trends shift. It only grows stronger, while the crowd burns through their paychecks for applause that lasts 5 seconds. She's not afraid to look less if it means having more time, more control, and more exit options. That's her kind of wealth. And that's why frugality in her world isn't something to hide, it's something to flex. Number 5. They treat lifestyle inflation like a disease. They treat lifestyle inflation like a disease because they've seen what it does to people. The moment someone starts earning more, the first thing they do is try to look richer. Bigger house, newer car, flashier wardrobe. But to the Sigma female, that's a trap dressed up as progress. She knows that every time you upgrade your life just because your paycheck increased, you're not buying freedom, you're buying more pressure to keep up. More bills, more eyes watching, more stress that steals your peace when nobody's looking. The Sigma doesn't play that game. When her income goes up, she doesn't rush to show the world. She goes quiet. She invests in her options, not her image. While others buy louder lives, she builds quieter power. It's not that she can't afford the upgrades. It's that she's wise enough to question whether she actually needs them. She's seen how people use money to patch emotional wounds. She's seen how quickly luxury turns into obligation. So she keeps her life light and her freedom intact. She understands that lifestyle inflation isn't just financial, it's psychological. You get used to comfort. Then you start fearing the loss of it. Suddenly you're working longer hours not for survival, but to sustain an identity that wasn't even yours to begin with. And when the money slows down, so does the self-worth of the people who built their entire identity around the illusion of wealth. The Sigma female avoids that spiral like it's a virus. She doesn't let money own her mind. She doesn't upgrade her life for validation. She upgrades her boundaries, her investments, her peace. She keeps her expenses low, not because she's scared, but because she's smart. She knows the lower your cost of living, the higher your ability to walk away from anything toxic, job, relationship, situation. And for her, that is real wealth. She'd rather look basic and sleep like royalty than look rich and stay up at night calculating how to keep the show going. Because the Sigma female's not chasing applause, she's chasing leverage, and lifestyle inflation, that's the fastest way to lose it. Number 6. They refuse to impress people, they secretly pity. They refuse to impress people they secretly pity because they see through the mask that most people wear. The Sigma female knows the truth. Behind the fake smiles, curated selfies, and over-the-top lifestyles are people who are often insecure, anxious, and pretending to be more than they are. And she feels no need to compete with that. Why should she spend money, energy, or time trying to impress people whose lives are falling apart behind the filters? She wouldn't trade places with them on their best day, so what's the point of seeking their approval? That's the part people don't get. Sigma females aren't driven by outside validation. They don't care what people think, especially when they've already seen what those people are hiding. She watches how they borrow money to look rich, how they live for praise but crumble without attention. She's not jealous, she's quietly disturbed. Because while everyone's clapping for them, she knows the cost they're silently paying to keep up the act. That's why she never feels the need to show off. She's not decorating her life to earn claps from an audience she doesn't even respect. In fact, she pities most of them, not in a rude way, but with a kind of detached sadness. She sees the desperation in their overspending, the fear in their constant posting, the emptiness behind their loud behavior, and she wants no part of it. The Sigma female doesn't buy things to prove she belongs. She already knows she doesn't, and she's okay with that. She doesn't move to impress. She moves to elevate, and that elevation often means staying invisible while everyone else is busy performing. She won't wear the dress, drive the car, or attend the event just to fit in, especially when she doesn't even respect the circle to begin with. Her peace is worth more than their applause. Her time is too expensive for shallow approval. So while others are out trying to impress people who are quietly struggling, the Sigma is doing something far more powerful, building a life so solid that she doesn't need to impress anyone at all. Number 7, they know society is one collapse away from humbling you. They know society is one collapse away from humbling you, and that's exactly why Sigma females don't fall for the illusion of permanent comfort. While most people are spending like life will always stay stable, she's silently preparing for when it won't. She doesn't trust appearances, headlines, or false promises. Job security can disappear overnight. The economy, one policy shift away from disaster. Trends, gone before you finish paying them off. That's why the Sigma doesn't live for the high. She prepares for the fall. She's not pessimistic, she's prepared. She's seen too many people get wiped out because they believed the good times would last forever. People who laughed at savings, who mocked frugality, who spent everything the moment it came in just to look like they were winning. And when the unexpected hit, they had nothing. Not money, not options, not peace of mind. The Sigma female refuses to be that person. While others buy to celebrate, she saves to protect. She doesn't care how booming the market is or how stable things look on paper. She's aware that life is fragile, and systems can break without warning. That's why she doesn't live above her means. That's why she keeps her expenses low, her life simple, and her options open. She's not trying to impress the world today just to beg for help tomorrow. She doesn't get caught up in the pressure to upgrade just because she earns more. Because she knows real security isn't in how much you make, it's in how little you need to survive. So while others are chasing bigger paychecks to match their inflated lifestyles, she's building a financial cushion that gives her real freedom. The kind of freedom where if everything collapsed tomorrow, she'd still be okay. That foresight makes her dangerous, because she can't be pressured into reckless spending, and she can't be lured by shiny distractions. She's playing the long game. And in that game, survival beats attention, freedom beats luxury, and preparation, that beats every trend in the world. Number 8, they're addicted to options, not obligations. They're addicted to options, not obligations, and that's why Sigma females live so differently. While most people are busy trying to build a life that looks luxurious, she's quietly building a life that feels free. To her, real wealth isn't about owning expensive things. It's about owning her time, her choices, and her peace. A flashy car means nothing if she has to keep a soul-draining job just to afford it. That's not wealth to her. That's slavery with better scenery. She's not interested in being booked and busy if it means she's trapped. She doesn't want a big house if she can't leave it whenever she wants. Sigma females don't chase the kind of success that requires them to say yes to things they hate. They'd rather earn less and be in control than earn more and be controlled. That's the trade-off most people don't think about, how much freedom they sacrifice just to look successful. Sigma females are allergic to anything that ties them down unnecessarily. That includes toxic jobs, draining friendships, and financial commitments that come with invisible chains. If a purchase makes her life heavier, more rigid, or more complicated, she's not interested. Because every dollar she spends isn't just money. It's time, energy, and future flexibility being traded away. She lives below her means not out of fear, but out of strategy. The lower her living costs, the higher her ability to walk away from anything that no longer serves her. And that walk-away power, that's her definition of luxury, not being stuck, not being silenced, not being forced to tolerate nonsense just to keep a paycheck rolling in. That's why the Sigma female doesn't waste time trying to impress the crowd. She's busy setting up her life like a launch pad, not a prison. Every smart money move she makes is buying her one thing: freedom. The freedom to pivot, to leave, to start over, or to completely disappear if that's what she wants. While the world is addicted to looking rich, she's addicted to staying untouchable. And in the long run, that kind of power always wins. Number 9. They know flex culture is financial suicide in disguise. They know flex culture is financial suicide in disguise because Sigma females don't just look at what people are showing, they look at what it's costing them. And more often than not, it's costing them everything: peace, freedom, and long-term stability. While everyone else is chasing the next status symbol, the Sigma is asking one brutal question. But can you actually afford that? Not just with money, but with your sanity, your time, and your future. To her, flex culture isn't impressive, it's suspicious. She knows when someone's confidence is real and when it's being rented in monthly payments. The luxury bags, luxury cars, luxury vacations, They often come with luxury-sized debt. And she doesn't see that as power. She sees it as a slow-motion collapse dressed up in pretty packaging. Flexing is just desperation with better lighting. The Sigma female has trained herself to see past surface-level wealth. She knows how to spot someone who's drowning behind the scenes, maxed out cards, no savings, living paycheck to paycheck just to keep up an image. That's why she never competes with people who are secretly losing. She doesn't care how shiny your life looks if it's hollow inside. While others are spending to be seen, she's investing to stay free. She doesn't post every win. She doesn't need applause. And she certainly doesn't buy things just to prove a point. That's because she understands something most people never figure out. Every time you spend to impress, you give up a little more control over your life. And by the time the flex wears off, you're left stuck with bills, burnout, and the pressure to do it all again just to stay relevant. The Sigma female opts out of that cycle completely. She's not living to entertain the crowd. She's not interested in being envied. She'd rather be underestimated and financially bulletproof than admired and secretly broke. That's her power. She's not fooled by the illusion of wealth, because she knows how easily it becomes a trap. And in her world, anything that traps you owns you. Flex culture? She sees it for what it is. Just another costume people wear to hide the chaos they can't afford to admit. Number 10. They're long-term predators, not short-term prey. They're long-term predators, not short-term prey, and that's what makes Sigma females a different breed entirely. While the world is busy reacting, scrolling, swiping, spending, she's watching. She's calculating. She's 5 moves ahead while everyone else is still distracted by the shiny bait. Instant gratification doesn't excite her. She knows it's the enemy of strategy. Most people are addicted to now. They want the rush of being seen, the thrill of the flex, the quick hit of attention. But the Sigma female, she's addicted to later. She plays for legacy, not likes. She's not in a rush to show off her wins because she's still building them, quietly, patiently, and with surgical precision. While others gamble their future for temporary clout, she's stacking her resources like a disciplined predator waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Not emotionally, not impulsively, but with intent. She understands timing, restraint, and positioning. She doesn't need a win every day. She just needs the right win at the right time. The people around her often underestimate her because she's not loud, not flashy, not constantly trying to prove herself. And that's exactly how she likes it. While others are burning out trying to stay visible, she's conserving energy, building power behind the scenes, because she knows the game isn't about who starts fastest. It's about who finishes untouchable. She watches as people sabotage their future just to feel relevant today. New outfits, new gadgets, constant spending just to feed a fragile image. But she's not prey to those traps. She doesn't need immediate rewards because her satisfaction comes from knowing she's slowly becoming impossible to ignore. And by the time others realize what she's done, she's already unreachable. Sigma females don't build empires on emotion. They build it with patience and precision. They don't need to win now because they're setting themselves up to never lose later. She's not after short-term applause. She's after long-term dominance. And while everyone else is out there burning their future for 5 seconds of attention, she's sharpening her vision, setting traps, and preparing to walk away with everything, without ever being seen coming. Number 11. They view debt as psychological handcuffs. They view debt as psychological handcuffs because to a Sigma female, anything that limits her freedom is a silent threat. It's not just about owing money, it's about owing pieces of herself. Every time she signs up for debt, she knows she's signing away a bit of her future, her energy, her mental bandwidth. That's why she avoids it like a virus. Not because she's scared of responsibility, but because she refuses to live a life where her choices are owned by someone else. To her, debt isn't just a number on a statement, it's a chain around your next move. It dictates where you work, how long you stay, what you say yes to, and what you're forced to tolerate. It turns "I'll think about it" into "I can't afford not to." And for someone who values sovereignty over everything, that kind of invisible control is the biggest violation of all. Most people normalize debt. They see it as a rite of passage, a way to access a lifestyle they haven't really earned yet. But the Sigma sees it for what it is, Borrowed time, borrowed peace, borrowed confidence. She doesn't take out loans to impress strangers or finance moments that vanish in a flash. If she can't afford it outright, she'll wait, grind, and earn it herself. Because what's the point of looking rich if you're mentally trapped? That's why she doesn't just avoid financial debt, she avoids emotional and social debt too. She doesn't want to owe people favors she didn't ask for. She doesn't want to be in situations where she can't walk away clean. Her boundaries are tight for a reason. She's not anti-connection, she's anti-dependence. Because the second she feels boxed in, she knows she's lost control. Debt, to the Sigma female, isn't a financial issue, it's a freedom issue. It means she has to answer to someone else. And if there's one thing she protects more than anything, it's her ability to make her own decisions, without pressure, without panic, and without permission. So while others are busy signing up for invisible handcuffs just to keep up with the crowd, she's walking a different path, clean, quiet, and completely unowned. Number 12. They don't want to be the richest lady in the room. They want to be the lady no one saw coming. They don't want to be the richest lady in the room. They want to be the lady no one saw coming. That's the Sigma female's mindset, and it flips the entire game on its head. She doesn't care about being the center of attention or the loudest voice in the room. That kind of spotlight means nothing to her. She's not aiming to be flashy. She's aiming to be undeniable. The kind of woman who walks in unnoticed, but leaves everyone wondering how they missed her brilliance. While others are busy making noise, she's mastering silence. While they flaunt every win, she stacks hers quietly. She understands something most people miss. True power doesn't need to be performed. It needs to be protected. That's why she keeps her moves low-key. Her success isn't for show, it's for strategy. She's not the type to brag about her income, her plans, or her status. She lets her results speak at full volume when the timing is right. Sigma females don't chase the spotlight because they know the spotlight is a trap. It brings distractions, critics, and expectations. And she's not interested in building a life that depends on public approval. She'd rather build one that's bulletproof in private. She values being underestimated, overlooked, and doubted because it gives her the upper hand. There's no pressure when no one sees you coming. There's no competition when they didn't think you were even in the race. She doesn't want people watching her climb. She wants them stunned when they realize she's already at the top. That's why she lives below her means. That's why she avoids flexing. That's why she stays quiet while others overshare. She's not investing in attention. She's investing in power. Quiet power. Strategic power. The kind you can't fake, rush, or steal. By the time they realize who she is, it's already too late. She's moved, built, secured, and positioned herself so well that she's untouchable. Not because she shouted the loudest, but because she stayed sharp while everyone else was distracted. She never needed to be the richest woman in the room. She just needed to be the one no one thought to watch, until she made her move. In a world obsessed with looking rich, the Sigma female is quietly becoming powerful. While others exhaust themselves chasing applause, flexing borrowed lifestyles, and piling up debt in the name of status, she's moving with quiet intention. She doesn't live above her means, not because she can't, but because she refuses to let society's illusions dictate her freedom. Every decision she makes is rooted in one core truth. Control is better than clout, and peace is worth more than prestige. She's not here to impress people she doesn't admire. She's not moved by trends, pressure, or the loud demands of flex culture. She's not playing for the spotlight. She's playing for sovereignty. Her version of luxury isn't in labels or loans. It's in choices. The choice to walk away, the choice to start over, the choice to live life on her terms with no invisible strings attached. While most people spend to escape themselves, the Sigma female invests in becoming more of who she already is. Unapologetically real, unshakably grounded, and completely untouchable. That's why she doesn't just survive the financial games others fall into. She outsmarts them entirely. No debt, no burnout, no desperation. Just strategy, discipline, and foresight. So by the time the world catches up, when trends collapse, when fake wealth fades, when the noise dies down, she's already 10 steps ahead. And when she finally makes her move, she won't need to announce it. The impact will speak for itself. Because the Sigma female didn't just avoid living above her means, she mastered the art of living beyond reach. If this resonated with you, even just one brutal truth, then don't just scroll past. Subscribe to the channel because this space is built for minds like yours, strategic, sharp, and done with the noise. Like the video if you value substance over show. Comment below. What part hit the hardest or reminded you of your own quiet power? And if you know someone who's tired of the fake flexing and ready to take control of their life, share this with them. It might be the wake-up call they didn't know they needed. This isn't just content. It's a mindset. And if you're here for it, welcome to the movement.